Hello and welcome to the Knitting Traditions podcast. My name is Inga and this is my little corner on the internet where I talk about my knitting. If you're new here, I hope you enjoy this content. I talk about what I've been knitting on, finished objects, and acquisitions. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. It's been a while. It's been 4 weeks. I just got home from holidays. I've been traveling and I'll talk a little bit about it while we're chatting along today. I have quite a acquisition heavy episode because I bought yarn on holidays because I like to do that. It's like little souvenirs, and I also have a few things to show that I managed to get done in the heat. So let's settle in. I can feel it's been a while since I've done this. I feel a little bit like all over the place. But what we usually start with is what I'm wearing. And I am wearing the Kumulus tee by petiteknit. I knit the size medium in tynn, which is a yarn from sandnes garn, which is a cotton linen blend. I followed the pattern mostly, but I did not do an I-cord. So in the pattern you're supposed to do an I-cord at the neckline. I didn't. I did do an I-cord for the sleeves and the hem of the body, but I just left the neckline as it is because I like the way that it looks, and I think the color complements my tan. I tried really hard to get a tan and it's already going off. Do you know how that happens? You get on the plane and everything just starts disappearing. Anywho, I like this pattern so much that I decided to bring more of it as whips for my trip, because I wanted something that would take a while to knit, and this is knit on 3mm needles, and a lot of the garment is knit back and forth until you join here, so it's not the quickest. And I bought yarn to make another, and I made another. So I finished this in Turkey. This one is more cropped than the other, but it is still long enough to sort of reach the top of my jeans. So my pants right now kind of end here. So it goes well with high-waisted pants and skirts and stuff. Same yarn, tynn for both of these. Made the medium for both of them. Somehow I got some pink stuff on the back of this and I'm not sure what it is. It did not go away when washing it, so that's a bummer, but it's in the back and honestly I don't care. I'll still wear it even though I messed up somehow. I think it happened in the suitcase. But so yeah, this is my second Kumulus tee. Really like it. I made the sleeves slightly longer on this one and the body shorter, so they're like the same but slightly different. Both great though. And I have another one, but that's a whip. And I figured I'd show all the finished objects because I forgot to show you this last time. So this is a sweater that I kind of made up myself using a silk mohair yarn, and I've talked about this probably then 2 episodes ago. I sort of gauge swatched with the yarn, 3.5mm needles I believe, and sort of constructed a garment based on how much ease I wanted. I did that for a green version, bottom up, and when I saw how many stitches I ended up with for the neckline, I did it the opposite way, top down, for this version. So it's very simple, some German short rows and then raglan increases until I had the stitches for the ease that I wanted for the body and sleeves, and then split and knit, and yeah. So it's straight sleeves, straight body, cropped, very thin fabric. This was the tweed silk mohair from Garter. Really like this yarn. However, this a lot of these, because it only uses 4 balls of silk mohair, this thing that I've created, the balls had a lot of sections where it was just the silk, so like the mohair had been removed from the strand, if you know what I mean, and I had to break the yarn and reattach it at all those places, so there was a lot of ends to weave in. So because of that kind of knocks this yarn down from being my favorite silk mohair, because I really love how it looks, the tweediness of it, and it feels really nice, but it was not fun having to reattach all those ends. So yeah. Then I was telling you about another Kumulus tee, and I have gotten this far on it. This is using a different yarn from these other 2 versions. This is a bamboo blend, and I might be sitting on the yarn, or I'll find it. Found it. So this is Bambino from Viking Garn. This is a Norwegian commercial yarn. 50 grams is 176 meters. And it has the same gauge as the tynn line, but this is thicker than tynn line if you just hold the strand up and look at the meterage. And this consists of 50% bamboo and 50% cotton, so all plant fibers. It feels very, very soft. This is the color 433. It's a really nice bottle green, and this one is still soft after washing. In Turkey, when I was knitting on this, my father and boyfriend got rid of some old empty bird's nest behind the air conditioning on the walls, and a lot of feathers and ickiness got onto my whip, which was just lying on the table. So I washed it while it was still on the needles, and it's still just as soft. It's wrinkly now because it's been in the suitcase, but it does create a really nice fabric. What I did, because the yarn is slightly thicker, I am knitting this on 2.75 millimeter needles instead of 3 millimeter needles. It is creating a really nice fabric. I really like it. I like how it looks. The drape is nice. It feels very soft. I can't wait to wear this, and I think this is going to be a t-shirt that I will wear all year round. So I'm not going to make this one as cropped as the white, just because if I make it longer, then it'll be a nice t-shirt to sleep in, as well as like a pajama t-shirt, because it is so soft. So we'll just see how long I'll make it. I think I just finished the second ball, so I've gotten quite a lot done with just 2 balls of this. And that being said, I only used 3 balls of tynn line to make this cropped version of the medium size. So you do really get a lot of buck for your money, so to speak, with these thin plant fiber yarns. They do go a long way. Definitely think I'll be making more things with this bambino yarn in the future. We'll see how it holds up, but it feels really nice, and I'm loving the color, so I think I'll be making more. It does kind of shed a little bit of fiber on your hands, especially if you're knitting by the pool in 30 degrees weather, but I didn't mind, and I think it looks nice. So we'll see what time I will be able to finish this, but yeah, this is a whip that I'm just enjoying. I have several left. I thought I would need 6, but 4 is probably gonna be enough, so then I'll have 2 left. Maybe I'll get 2 more and do like a stripy thing. We shall see. Another whip that I had planned for the journey but didn't get as much done on, and by that I mean almost nothing, is I had cast on for a third Kumulus tee that I was gonna make into a dress, but as you can see it got put on the sidelines because I found another whip to work on instead. I did bring the half and half wrap, and the plan was to have this to knit on the plane. And if you don't know the half and half triangles wrap, it's a free pattern from Purl Soho. It's a very simple, comforting knit. It's garter back and forth. You do some wrap and turns, or in my case, I do German short rows. And I also decided to do sort of a I-cord edging on the side that I didn't do the German short rows on. I have made this once before. I made the large size and I love it. It's a big schlanket. I wanted to try and make it slightly smaller this time, just to see how that would fit. And because it's a garter shawl, it's easily blocked to a bigger size. So if I do find it's a bit too small, I'll just block it. Because it's still pretty decent size. This is like one side of the triangle, so it's going to be like a square version of this size, which means I should be able to get it around my neck, but I might want to stretch it a bit to make it bigger. We shall see. So I decided to just knit on this on airports and airplanes, just to see how far I would get while traveling. And I did not knit on it on train rides, car drives, etc. So it was just airports and airplanes. And I finished one half just before getting my luggage in Bergen, where I landed this weekend, which means there was a lot of time spent traveling this summer. I flew to Turkey, then we flew from Turkey to Rome, and then I flew from Rome to Vienna to Turkey again. That was a really long layover. And then from Turkey to Copenhagen, again, like a 12-hour layover, and then from there to Bergen. So a lot of time spent. A lot of my we have like a lot of strikes going on with our airlines this summer, so hence all the time spent there, but I don't mind because I'm a knitter. And I knitted this with wooden needles. I have these ones from Knit Pro. I'm using 3.5 millimeter needles, which is slightly bigger than the recommended 3.25. I just disconnected these and put on the stoppers, and then I had these in my purse together with 4 pens in a pocket. So on the x-ray it looks like pens, and also it's wooden, so it should be fine. And I had 0 problems at any of the airports, so it worked for me. I was really scared that they would take them, but it wasn't an issue. But it really depends on who is in the security thingy when you go through. You never know what's going to happen, but it worked for me. I would not bring metal needles because that would kind of light up on the x-ray, but wood needles together with pens didn't look very suspicious, I guess. Maybe. I know other people have done that too, so. And I did 20 stitches less than the large, so I did 240 stitches for the cast on, which does mean a lot because you start with the long edge. So if I had 20 stitches more, that would have been like 40 rows more of knitting in the long section end. So happy with my decision. I'll just block it bigger if I need to. This is turmeric yellow. This is the linen quill from Purl Soho. I can show you the skein here. So yeah, linen quill, turmeric yellow is the first color, and what you see here is oatmeal gray, which I intend to use as my second color. And honestly, it looks nicer on camera than in reality. It's not as orange as it looks, but it's going to be a really nice combination. Purl Soho used to have a lot more colors in linen quill, and a lot of them have been discontinued, which is a shame because there's a lot of their colors that I really would like that I can't get my hands on, and it's just a really nice yarn. The makeup is, let's see, should say here, it's 50% fine Highland wool, 35% alpaca, and 15% linen, and it just feels really nice. I don't find it itchy at all. Some people might. I think it's really soft, warm, and comforting. And I wanted to wear my first one today when I left for work because it's 12 degrees and rain here. Something happened. The heat wave in the rest of Europe has taken the heat from here because this is not summer. It feels like March. And I want to wear all my woolens. Technically, I just want to go on holiday again, but gotta work. So yeah, that's what I'm working on. I am going to start just knitting across all the German short rows turns with my new color. And this is all I have left of the second ball. So for the large size, it tells you you need 3 of each color. Because I did 20 stitches left, I didn't even break into the third ball, so I'm going to be able to finish this almost large version with just 4 balls instead of 6. But doing it again, it might be yarn chicken because I've heard that these skeins are not exactly 100 grams. Some are a bit more, like 115, and I didn't weigh it. I mean, I could, but I'm lazy, so yeah. But yeah, so it would be a little bit of yarn chicken. Maybe if I would have done 10 stitches less, so 230, which I think is, yeah, then it should be safe with 2 colors of each skein, I think. Oh well, I'm not gonna be playing yarn chicken. I have the extra skein. Maybe I'll do a striped one in the future. I've also always thought that these blankets would make really nice baby blankets if you have anyone that you'd like to knit for. I am making these for myself because I love a giant shawl, scarf, blanket thing. And I'm gonna be making more in the future. I really like knitting on them. It's nice to have a mindless knit, but it still has, you know, that little bit of interest because you have to wrap or do a German short row to turn it. So there's like something happening. Yeah, really happy with it, and I'm loving the color, and it's gonna be fun adding the other one. Okay, so when I drove to Bergen, I brought a whip that I knit on quite a bit there. I didn't bring it to Turkey. I had cast it on thinking I was gonna bring it on my summer holiday because it was again one of those thinner yarn projects. This is Jules genser from Sandnes Garn. In order to buy their patterns, you do have to buy yarn with the pattern book, but there is a sock pattern in the book, so you could just buy the sock yarn. However, I really enjoy this silk mohair yarn. This is their thin silk mohair, and for my size, which I think is a medium, it says you need 6 balls of it, but I really love how it feels. I am currently on the English words. I'm currently on the ribbed border on the bottom here. It's a twisted rib, and after that I'm going to finish the sleeves. This is knit on 3mm needles as well, so it's quite a slow project. So I feel like I've done lots and lots of knitting in the last 4 weeks since I recorded. It just doesn't show as much because I've been purposely knitting on things that takes longer, just because I was afraid of running out of projects, even though I know myself and I bought lots of yarn, so that would never happen. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the process of this, and I'm very much looking forward to having this as a finished garment. The color is a lot of fun, looks fun with my new green pants, and yeah. There's something nice about a mohair sweater. Super light but warm, it breathes, nice layering piece. Highly recommend. And yeah, this is the thin line, which I believe, I don't have to believe, I can look at the ball band. It's sandnes garn, tynn, silk mohair, and fiber everywhere. It's 57% mohair, 28% silk, and 15% wool. And 25 grams is 212 meters, so it's like what I think of as a standard silk mohair. They just call it thin silk mohair because they have thicker versions of it. But 212 meters for 25 grams is pretty standard when it comes to silk mohairs from Drops, Isair, KFO. All these brands usually are 212-ish meters. So yeah, that's a whip. And I started a new whip in Turkey. I bought lots of plant fiber yarns there because I'm not a huge acrylic fan, which they have a lot of acrylic yarns, but they also have some really nice cotton yarns and plant fiber mixes. So I started a free pattern again from Purl Soho. If you don't know about Purl Soho, check them out. They do have some really nice free patterns and lots of nice yarn, even though it's quite expensive. Yarn is quite affordable in Norway, so Purl Soho is not the cheapest. It's not the most expensive, it's not indie dyed expensive, but it's not commercial cheap either. But there's some really nice yarns. I love the linen quill, so. But yeah, I started knitting a towel from them. I'll put the name here because I don't remember it. And I can just show you. This is the towel that I am making. If you follow the Brooke Willow Knit podcast, she is currently making the same. She casted on the recommended amount of stitches. I did not. I cast on using the regular old Norwegian cast on, and I got to 115 stitches, and I just thought that that's enough for a hand towel. This is also a good size for hanging on the oven. Usually in Norway we have like a towel hanging on the oven, and after knitting on this and seeing how sort of thick and sturdy the material is, because it's a linen stitch, which is the first time for me doing linen stitch, and you can't really see through it that much at all because it's a very dense fabric, so it would be perfect to have on the stove. So I haven't decided quite yet. It might go on the stove or it might be a hand towel, and I'll just make more. I think that the backside is really pretty too, with the little bumps. And the yarn that I have used is Gazal organic baby cotton that I got at a local yarn store in Alanya, Turkey. And this is 100% cotton. It's GOTS certified and Ecotex certified. 100% organic cotton. and it's 115 meters per 50 grams. So it's quite thick, and I am knitting it on some Knitter's Pride needles that I got at the same yard store. These are 3.75 millimeter needles. I could have probably made this on a lot bigger needles, like 4.5, and it would have been good because the yarn is thicker and it wouldn't have been as dense as this. So maybe for making more versions of it for the bathroom, I'll go up in needle size to make it a little bit more airy. But yeah, no, I really like it. I used two colors, so the black color and I don't know if it has a name. It's color 431. It's sort of a light greeny beige. From a distance, it looks like beige and black, but it's more interesting if you go up close to look, at least in real life. Yeah, I really like it. Every row you sort of knit it twice because you knit one and then you slip one. So it takes a long time to knit. From sort of one bump here to the next there, that is 8 rows. That's 8 rows of knitting and purling. Because you knit on one side and you purl on the other side. So it's quite time consuming. I would say this is a very nice knit to bring on holidays to a warm place because it's a cotton, unless you choose to knit with something else. So you can knit on it on the beach. I didn't care if it got like sunscreen and stuff on it because I'll just wash it because it's 100% cotton. I'll throw it in the machine, no problem. And it takes a really long time to knit, so you're not going to run out of a project, and you don't have to be careful with it or anything. So yeah, really nice summer holiday knit. And I am planning on making another one, but reverse the colors, so do black with this as a contrast. And for this one, I'm going to knit until I have used up 3 balls of this. So far I've used 2 balls of the light color, and I'm still on the first ball of the black because you knit 3 rows of the main color and then 1 row with the contrast. So you used up 3 times as much of the base color, basically. And to do a linen stitch, you could look up this pattern if you don't know how to. It is not as complicated as it seems when you first start reading the pattern because it's an 8-row repeat, but I sort of made up rules in my head to kind of read the knitting and tell me what to do next instead of having to look at the pattern all the time. So I'll put in a little timestamp if you're not interested in this, so you can just skip ahead. But if you do want to knit something like this, what I tell myself is when all the stitches on the needle is in the base color and both strands are on the same side, that's when you want to knit with the contrast color. If that's not the case, you're going to be knitting with the main color. And you always want to slip the stitch holding the yarn to what is the front side of the pattern. And you always want to knit the stitch that you slipped on the previous row. And you always want to hold the yarn. If you're not knitting the first and last stitch but you're slipping it, you want to hold the yarn to the back side at the beginning and the end. Even though you might be slipping holding the yarn to the front, the first and the last you want to keep in the back. And that's just to make a neat edge. And you always slip purlwise. I think those were the main rules that I keep telling myself. And if I just follow those steps, I don't need to look at the pattern. So I'm just going until I run out of the black, Might have to stop a little bit earlier because I do want to make the same edge on both sides. That's not following the pattern. I followed the pattern slightly. I don't know if this is 1.5 inch or whatever, but it looked nice. And then I started doing the color work, and instead of stopping and making a longer section of the base color, which I think is what's in the pattern, I am just gonna make it equal on each side's symmetry. But yeah, you can play around with it. It's a lot of fun. But I do need breaks from it because knitting with a cotton yarn on a tight gauge and a dense fabric, it's a bit, I don't know, it's not as smooth on the hands as all the other projects. So yeah, I'm taking breaks and going back and forth. But as you can see, it's a really nice dense fabric for a kitchen towel or stove towel. That's what I'll use it for, I think. I think I've decided, but we shall see. So those were all of the things that I've been knitting on, and we'll see what I continue with. It's not really that warm here, but I still want to knit some summer things, so I probably continue knitting on what I have. Might cast on something more woolly soon because it's cold and I'm kind of feeling it, but we'll see. I have several yarny acquisitions to show. If that's not your cup of tea, then I will see you next time. But if you do want to hear about it, I will show you what I've got and where I got it. And maybe if you go traveling in the future, you can go to the same place. First off, I got something in the mail just after I left. So my cousin got it out for me. And it's my Knitcrate. So I'm an affiliate member of Knitcrate, so they send me yarn every month. You can do previews and see which colors and yarn they have, but you can't choose. That's sort of a surprise. And if you use my link and buy something in the future, I get a little bit of money from them. Or if you use the coupon, which gives you 20% off. And I think the first month free, then I also get some money. But nothing you have to do, just I have to inform you. And this time I'm really happy with the colors that I got. Look how pretty! So this is a summer yarn. It's, let's see the composition. This is the yarn. Kusher. I think it's Kusher. I might be butchering that name, but this is the label. And this is 34% cotton, 35% linen, 19% lyocell, 11% nylon, and it's a sport weight. It's 320 meters per 100 grams. And it's a chained yarn in the color Old Barn. And it's just so pretty. It looks almost tonal, like it has darker and lighter areas. It has a really nice shine to it, and I really like this color. Couldn't be happier. There was also a beige and a light green and a blue, so this was definitely right up my wheelhouse. Really happy that I got this color. And I'm not sure what I'm going to make. It might just become a ranunculus. This is not the only yarn that I'm thinking might become a ranunculus. I don't know. If I'm not sure what to make, I always feel like I can squeeze a ranunculus out of it, ever since I managed to get it out of one ball of silk mohair. So yeah, it might become that. I have 640 meters, so it should be plenty. But yeah, it might also become another t-shirt or top, but I think it would make a really nice ranunculus. So yeah, that was, oh, they also sent a latte creamer to add to coffee. Oh, I'm bringing this to work. And interesting. vanilla pour over coffee. Gonna be nice to try. I do love a good coffee. Alright, so first, I went to Turkey, so maybe we should start with the yarns that I got there. Except for this yarn, all I got was plant fibers. This again is Ghazal, and this is super kid mohair. It's 237 meters, and this contains 22% polyamide, 31% superwash merino, and 47% super kid mohair. So normally I wouldn't go for it fibers because of the polyamide instead of silk and the superwash merino component. It's not the sort of silk mohair that I usually like. I like the silkiness of the silk mohair. I don't mind a little bit of wool in it because I really do like the thin silk mohair. But I just really wanted to try this yarn that they had, to have like something other than just plant fibers, because I do live in a cold place, and the color was just beautiful. I don't like purple, but I do love a lilac, and this is lilac to me, like a dusty lilac. This is Ecotex certified, it says. Does it have a colorway? Color 64413, if that tells you anything. It's made in Turkey. I got 4 of it. So, like I said, I managed to make this out of 4 balls, so I figured 4 would be enough to maybe make another one, or something similar, or I could add it to, I have some cones of pinkish purplish yarn of wool, and it is really nice to add silk mohair strands to other fibers, so I might just do that. We'll see. And I got 3 colorways of this yarn from Alize. Alize, they sell in several countries. It is made in Turkey, but I did manage to get it when I lived in Poland as well. This is their Bella base, which is 100% cotton, and I got 4 balls of each color. I think that should be enough to make a t-shirt at least. And this is 100 grams, which gives you 360 meters. So it's a fingering weight, like a thick fingering weight. And I got this color, which I don't know what color it is. It's color 83. And I got this color, which is the color, where is the color 89. And yeah, both of this I am thinking t-shirts. Not sure if it'll be a t-shirt like this or something with a bit of texture. We'll see. I also did have to get a neutral, so I got the color 1 as well. This is like a nice warm white, ivory white, warm ivory. So yeah, I have 4 of each of these, 100% cotton yarns. They're not the softest cotton yarns, but I still think they'll make some nice t-shirts. Yeah. And I did get, in addition to the black and green that I'm using for the dish towels, I also got some in white. This is the color 436, so I'm not sure if this will become more towels like that can mix and match the colors, or if I will use this for a top. Somehow this white one seems a lot softer than the black and the light green, but it is the exact same yarn, the Gazelle Organic Baby Cotton, 115 meters, so it shouldn't be different, but it might have something to do with the process of coloring them, or if this one was bleached. Somehow, somewhere along the road, this turned out softer. And I got 2 colors in a different cotton yarn that they carried at another local yarn store in Turkey. Let's see if... Okay, so the first one, this was a color... No, this was a yarn called Oxford Classic Fancy Handmade Eco Cotton Baby. This ball right here. I got 6 balls of this dark chocolatey brown color. And how many meters? It's 200 meters per 50 grams, so this is spot on fingering weight by definition. And I have 8 balls of this, so 400 grams. It's plenty. I could make a garment out of it. I could hold it double and still make a t-shirt, or I could make maybe some baby knits for friends who are pregnant. We'll see. I haven't really decided. I didn't have like a specific plan in mind like I've had with a lot of the other yarns that I got. I just really liked how it felt. It was quite soft and very affordable and 100% cotton, so I'll always find a use for it, is what was going through my head. The other color that I got in this is a light gray. Okay, I had to run and get it. This is the other color that I got in the light gray. Let's see if it has a color name. I don't know. It says it's made in Turkey. I can't seem to see a color name. Maybe it doesn't have it. It should have it, but I can't seem to find it. But yeah, I got a light gray and a chocolatey brown, and I lied. I didn't get 2 colors. I got 3 colors. They had a whole pack, which is 10 balls in a white color. So I was thinking I could make towels for washing my hands using this. It's slightly thicker than the other yarn, so if I use big needles and this thinner yarn, it'll be more airy and have more of a drape. So I might do that. I'll still have enough to make a t-shirt if I want to. I sort of felt when holding it up that it was a bit similar to the tynn linen, how it feels, so it could make some nice Kumulus tees, but we'll see. This is sort of going into my summer yarn stash. I don't have a huge summer yarn stash. I have plenty for knitting for at least 2 summers, but I figured when I was traveling it would be a nice souvenir, and I know I'll knit with it in the future. And yeah, excuses, but what can I say? So those were most of the yarn that I bought in Turkey. I did also get my hands on these 4 balls of yarn, and this is not a common way of caking up yarn in Norway. Usually things come in balls of yarn and sometimes hanks, but these sort of look like they've been caked onto small toilet rolls, and I saw it in Italy too. I don't know how I feel about it, because it was really hard to pack it into a suitcase because they take a lot of space and they're not really squishy at all. They're quite rigid in their shape. But yeah, I got these 4 colors: a mossy green, a foresty green, black, and purple. And this is keten, lino, lanoso, and then something in Turkish, and there's also something in Russian on here. This is made in Turkey. The company, I think, is Lanoso, and this is lino in the color 960. That's the black one. It's 50 grams and 175 meters, so it's less than a fingering weight. It's 50% linen, I'm guessing. It's not in English. I assumed it was linen because it's called lino, but it might be cotton. 50% cotton and 50% viscose, or 50% linen and 50% viscose. If anyone speaks this language, keten, which keten sounds like cotton, so maybe it's a cotton viscose mix. But either way, thought it would be fun to try something new. I don't have a lot of this. I think I have most of the black. I think I have 6 balls of the black. The other ones I have like 3 or 4 of. Should be enough to make, let's say, Look at My Holes by, is it James N. Watts? I think that's his name. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. I'm so bad with names. But yeah, I really want to make a Look at My Holes, so I was thinking of making maybe a lilac one, a black one, maybe a green one. I think I'll make one and see how much I actually like to wear it before I cast on more. But if not, these will make some really nice summer tops, and that's what they're going to become. And yeah, that is what I bought in Turkey. These are the needles that I got at one of the local yarn store there. It's from Knit Pro or Knitter's Pride. These are called Ginger. They are just some really beautiful wood needles. I was contemplating getting another wooden needle set. I have a set from Knitter's Pride and from Lykke, and they can use the same cords, so I use them a lot just because they're easy to pack, as they're interchangeable and they can use each other's wires and stuff. I also have my Haya sharps, but I didn't bring them on vacation because they were metal and I was scared they were going to be confiscated. So I did get some more in sizes like 3.25 and 3.75, just because those sizes aren't really very accessible in Norway, because usually we have 3, 3.5, 4, and we don't have those in between sizes. So I did get some of those so that I have fulfilled more of a completeness to the needles that I have. And then we traveled to Rome. We had 3 days in Rome before we went to a wedding in Terni, and it was so warm. Coming from a place where it's rainy and 12 degrees to a place where it was 37 in the shade, and one of the nights before leaving for the wedding, the air condition didn't work, so we did not sleep at all. It was not very pleasant. I've been to Rome before and I loved it, but that was in February. It was just too warm now. Too warm. But I still dragged Matthias to go to a yarn store, and what I came out with was some really nice yarn. So maybe we should start with this one. This is an undyed version of a cotton and linen blend. It's quite a thin yarn, very thin. So probably when knitting with this, I will cake it up and hold it double, or add it to some other yarn for a fun effect. Could also do that. This is 500 grams and it's the color Naturale. It's an undyed yarn, at least that's what the lady in the store told me. and it's just a really beautiful, almost marled white and beige color. Probably the linen and cotton has slightly different colors, and that's why it looks almost marled. But really looking forward to trying this and see how it knits up. It almost has a sort of a even uneven nature to the strand, and yeah, no, it's really nice. Don't know what I'll make because I think I need to swatch and see how it behaves, and probably hold it double, either by its own or with something else, just so it's not going to be lace weight, because in some areas it's like super lace weight, in some areas it's like fingering me. And I got one more color of this yarn, and this one was slightly heavier. This almost looks blue on screen right now, but it's more of it's a mint. It's a pale mint in real life. It's not as blue as it shows up. Not a very blue person, but I do love a good mint. I love a eucalyptus kind of color. And this is the color Verde Aqua. At least that's what it says inside. But yeah, this is also a cotton linen blend. Super thin. Going to be holding it double. So those two I got. So this store, I'm gonna put some footage at the end of this video. You could not go and look at the yarn. It was high to the ceiling and sort of behind the area where they were working, and you couldn't really go around and touch things or look at things. So they would give you a book of samples that you can look through and see like little strands of yarn in different colors. So yeah, also I was sweaty and gross, so I didn't really want to touch anything. So I picked two colors that I thought looked nice, and she got them down for me, and then I just had to get them. And they were beautiful. And then she also had 4 balls of this lying next to the cashier, and it's sort of falling apart. But this is the Brilla yarn. It's 50 grams. It's the color 432. And this is 42% cotton and 58% viscose. And she only had 4 balls of this, but I just thought the color was so happy. This popped out to me in the store. There was like a few yarns that were accessible, and this was among them, and the color was just by me. So I really like this color, so I wanted it. And there's another pattern by James N. Watts which is being tested right now. It's like a garter t-shirt with a v-neck where it's one color here and another color here. And how cool would it be to have a t-shirt with this as one of the colors? So she had this yarn on a cone, but this might be thinner. She wasn't sure, so I will have to swatch, but it's the same composition. This is the color Pana, and it's also a cotton viscose blend. When I look at them now next to each other, they seem very similar in thickness. It might just be that this has been caked up tightly because she thought this was thinner, but I don't know. I will do a swatch and see if they are actually the same or if I need to hold this double or something. But yeah, I thought these two were very pretty together. I might be able to get something out of just these 4 if I make something cropped and at a loose gauge or something, but they would also be really nice together. And I really liked how this yarn had a really nice shine to it. It's probably the viscose part to it. So I also got 2 other colors in this yarn. And this is only 250 grams, so I'm thinking I need to combine them to get a garment out of it. Unless I make a ranunculus or something, then probably I could be able to squeeze it out of one. I really like this green color. It's the color militare, military. This one is 60% cotton, 40% viscose, it says. And this one does not have its color on there, but it's, I don't know, beige-ish if you compare it to the off-white. Or the, yeah. So you can see the difference when you hold them next to each other. So yeah, got these 4 colors. It's almost the same. I mean, this says 58% viscose, 42% cotton. And that's not the same. Can you really trust the labels inside cones? Because these are the same yarn and they all have different labels inside. So I don't know if you can even trust them. But this is saying mostly viscose, and this is saying mostly cotton. But the lady in the store said it was the same yarn, so I don't know. Either way, they're all beautiful. And final acquisition. When we got back from the wedding in Tynn, we stayed in the Vatican City side of Rome, because we hadn't been on that side before, and it was really nice. I liked the streets. They were more airy, which was nice in the heat. You get a little bit of wind. And I tried to find a yarn store again. And I found one inside a marketplace where they sold a lot of vegetables. And I got 1 yarn from there. And they only had 3 balls of it. Most of what they had were acrylics. But they had this linen yarn. So the ones that I got from Turkey, these ones, they were smaller. And they might be cotton viscose blend. But these should be 100% linen. At least that's what it says, if we can trust the ball bands. It's 100% lino. It's 100 grams, giving 160 meters. So, I don't have that much yarn here. 160 meters times 3. Not a sweater, but how cool would it be to make a ranunculus out of a linen yarn? My favorite ranunculus is this one, and this is made of the papyrus from Fibra Natura, and I think I would be able to make a very similar version in this linen yarn. And linen is supposed to soften up after washing, I think. I have not knitted anything in 100% linen before, so it would be a really nice experience. And the color is gorgeous, and yeah, I don't know if it has the color on here. I think it's 96. It has like a stamped on colorway. Yeah. So 3 of this, probably be able to make a ranunculus. I would swatch just to see, and maybe that's what this is going to become. I need to knit because I have all this beautiful yarn that I want to try and I want to wear. I just need more summer temperatures so that I can actually wear them when I finish them. If not, I will just use them as layering pieces or hold them together with silk mohairs or woolly blends. I don't know. But yeah, that is all of the souvenirs, let's call them souvenirs, that I got from traveling this summer. It was really nice to go on holidays. I felt myself becoming a human again, and I just want to go back on holidays, you know? But I'm home, it's cold, and I will get to knitting. So I hope you're doing well and that you are enjoying whatever weather that you have there. Make the most of it, and I will see you soon, hopefully with lots more knitting. All right, bye.